You've been lied to about attraction. You were told it's about being the funniest guy in the room, the most shredded, the most successful, the one who never stumbles, never doubts, never hesitates. You were told to impress, to perform, to chase, and yet the more you try to prove yourself, the less you feel seen. Here's the dark secret most men never learn. Women don't fall for the man who tries the hardest. They fall for the man who can hold the most tension without flinching. Not the man who fills silence with words, but the man who controls silence. Not the man who begs for certainty, but the man who radiates certainty from within. The best-kept secret to becoming irresistible is the discipline of controlled tension. A quiet, grounded polarity you carry in your body, your eyes, your breath, and your boundaries. You don't force connection, you magnetize it. You don't sell yourself, you select. You don't chase her attention, you let her feel your gravity and invite herself closer. If what you've heard so far is shifting how you see yourself, stay with me until the end, because we're just getting started. You create this gravity long before you say a single word. It begins with stillness. Most men fidget because they're leaking anxiety through their hands, their jaw, their feet. You don't. Your shoulders hang heavy, your neck is long, your jaw is unclenched. You shift your weight from your heels to the middle of your feet and let your chest expand. Not in a puffed, performative way, but like you've just exhaled a truth you no longer need to hide. Breathe low and slow, in through the nose, out through the mouth, with a slight pause before the inhale. That pause tells your nervous system, we're safe, and when your system settles, hers begins to mirror it. This is where attraction starts. Nervous system to nervous system, breath to breath. Speak only when your exhale wants to carry your words. Before that, let your presence do the heavy lifting. Your eyes are the second instrument. Most guys dart their gaze, check their phone, scan the room for approval. You maintain a soft, steady look with a micro smile that barely touches your lips, not because you're trying to be mysterious, but because you don't need anything right now. When you speak, hold eye contact for just a beat longer than comfort, then look away slowly, not abruptly. When you listen, your eye contact is even more deliberate. People think dominance is loud. In reality, it's calm. Dominance is the refusal to break your own rhythm. As you hold that rhythm, you're sending a message. I move on my time. That message is rare. It's felt, not articulated, and it's why a woman's attention lingers even when you haven't said anything extraordinary. Posture and breath create the frame. Boundary creates the edge. Your boundary is not a speech about standards. It's a way you occupy space. You face the world at a slight angle, never squared off like you're pleading to be chosen. You take your time to answer. You interlock pauses with intention. You're not performing, you're screening. That single shift, screening instead of performing, changes everything in how you speak and how you're heard. It changes what you ask, how long you wait, and whether you smile as a default or as a response to something genuinely earned. A man without a boundary is noise. A man with a boundary is signal. Now we layer psychology into these physical cues. Attraction is not a checklist she consciously ticks off. It's a pattern her nervous system recognizes as safety with an edge. Safety without edge is nice but forgettable. Edge without safety is thrilling but unsustainable. You blend both. Safety is your regulation. Slow breath, still posture, composed reactions. Edge is your selectivity. You don't rush. You don't overshare. You don't give validation faster than you learn who she is. When you combine these, you regulate yourself while being selectively generous with attention. You create polarity. Polarity is the current that runs between two magnets. It needs distance and difference to spark. The mistake most men make is collapsing that distance by over-pursuing, over-explaining, or over-confessing. You do the opposite. You create distance on purpose, then you bridge it slowly. That's seduction in its most elemental form. Let's turn this into practice you can use tonight. Before you enter a room, run a simple pre-frame protocol. First, breath. 5 slow breaths with the pause. Second, posture. Shake the tension out of your hands, roll your shoulders back and down, lengthen the exhale. Third, intention. Say to yourself, I reveal, I don't perform. I select, I don't chase. I enjoy, I don't convince. This primes your system. Your movement becomes unhurried. Your face softens. Your eyes brighten with a grounded alertness. You're not there to prove a thing. You're there to notice, to savor, to choose. This one mental shift will raise your attractiveness instantly because it withdraws neediness from your micro behaviors. If this is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one when you finally speak. Avoid the reflex to ask basic interview questions. Questions can be powerful, but only when they're framed to imply that you're already whole and curious, not empty and seeking approval. Speak in observations and invitations. That ring looks like it has a story, followed by silence is infinitely more compelling than a barrage of small talk. It's not the words, it's the space you leave around them. Space transmits value. Think of conversation like music. Notes matter, but so do the rests. Your pauses are where she processes your presence, your scent, your eye contact, your timing. Fill those rests with composure, and you'll feel her start leaning forward. That lean is attraction converting into investment. Your voice seals the impression. Lower is not always better, but resonance always is. Resonance comes from relaxed exhalation and speaking from the body instead of from the throat. Read your own words in your head on the exhale before you release them. Let your pace sit just slower than the room without dragging. Cut filler sounds. Replace with breath. End sentences decisively. The nervous system picks up endings. It needs closure to trust. When your sentences end clean, your presence feels clean. That clarity is addictive in a world of chaos. Now we deploy the dark secret ethically. Controlled tension. Controlled tension is the art of offering just enough clarity to make her feel safe while withholding just enough certainty to keep her attention engaged. It's a dance of reveal and reserve. You reveal what you feel grounded in, your intentions, your standards, your pace, and you reserve details that should be earned. You reveal actual interest in what makes her alive, and you reserve premature intimacy that would collapse polarity before it has the strength to hold its own weight. You reveal your appreciation and you reserve your approval until it aligns with your standard. This isn't manipulation, it's leadership. Anytime you feel the impulse to overgive, pause, exhale, and let her contribute. Attraction thrives on contribution. If you do all the work, you smother the spark. Qualify, don't pedestal. Qualifying is not interrogating. It's simply letting her know you value who she is more than how she looks. I'm drawn to women who have their own orbit. What do you protect time for, no matter what? That sentence does three things at once. It telegraphs your standards, it invites depth, and it sets a subtle frame that proximity to you is earned by character. If she gives a shallow answer, don't punish it. Invite more. I like the energy in that. Tell me what that looks like on a Sunday morning. You handle superficiality with curiosity and patience, not judgment. You are the ocean, and shallow waves don't change the tide. This is irresistibility in action, calm conviction, plus a gentle pull toward more of who she actually is. Touch is powerful and must be treated with respect. The strongest approach is always consent-aligned and context-tuned. Touch is not a trick, it's a test of presence. If the environment, rapport, and her signals make it appropriate, begin with practical, situational contact. Guiding a path through a crowded space with a light touch to the upper back for less than a second. Then remove your hand first. If she reinitiates touch later, tapping your forearm to emphasize a point, leaning closer, playing with your bracelet, you've been invited deeper. Even then, keep touch intermittent, like punctuation, not paragraphs. The message is, I enjoy closeness and I respect pace. That dual signal increases desire because it keeps safety and edge braided together. Clothing and grooming matter because they speak before you do. Think in terms of texture and fit rather than loud branding. A well-fitted black or charcoal tee with structure in the shoulders and softness in the fabric beats a tight logo-splashed shirt every time. Dark jeans with clean lines, shoes that look like you care without looking like you're trying too hard, a subtle scent that only appears when she's within arm's reach. These choices are quiet, but they broadcast self-respect. Keep your nails clean, your breath fresh, your neck shaved or groomed. Details are declarations. They say, I am the kind of man who attends to what he owns, and your body and time are the first things you own. Conversation should climb, not spiral. Early on, keep topics grounded in the present environment or in personal principles. Avoid the temptation to trauma dump or chase instant intimacy with heavy disclosures. Mystery is not withholding, it's pacing. You escalate intimacy by escalating presence. More eye contact, longer pauses, sharing a decisive opinion, then inviting hers. You don't need to argue. You also don't need to agree with everything. Agreement without backbone is sugar water, sweet, forgettable, and easily spilled. When you disagree, do it with grace. I see it differently, and I like that you care enough to have a stance. That line respects her mind and anchors your own. Respect plus backbone is catnip. Humor works best when it arises from your amusement, not as a tactic. Teasing that leads is better than teasing that bites. If you tease, do it to highlight the dynamic, not to jab at insecurities. So this is your mysterious look when you're deciding whether to trust me, with a knowing smile, turn subtext into playful tension without demeaning. Always watch her micro-response. Do her eyes brighten? Does she mirror your smile? Or does she retreat? If she retreats, you downshift. Your masculinity is not rigid, it's responsive. Responsiveness is not neediness, it's mastery. Social dynamics amplify your signal. In groups, position yourself where you can see the room and be seen, ideally with your back to a wall or a pillar so you aren't subconsciously scanning for threats. Speak to the group and then land your attention on the woman you're interested in for a heartbeat longer than the rest. This creates a private channel inside a public space. Don't isolate too soon. Let her see how you lead conversations, share airtime, and make others feel at ease. Pre-selection is real. When others respond well to you, her nervous system notes it. But here's the key: never perform for her attention. Perform for your own standards. The difference is palpable. The phone is the modern saboteur of attraction. Keep it away. When you do take it out, only for logistics, be decisive and quick. If you exchange numbers, set a light frame as you do it. We'll continue this when you're not pretending to be mysterious. That line assumes continuity without groveling. After you text, do not over-message. Let the pace reflect your life. Men who suffocate via text are telling on themselves. They have nothing else to do. You do. You train, you create, you build, you rest, you think. Your life is full because you made it that way. Paradoxically, this fullness is not a barrier to intimacy. It's the container that makes intimacy exciting instead of consuming. Dates are not interrogations or performances. A powerful first meet is simple, intimate enough to talk, public enough to be comfortable, and paced to end slightly early rather than late. You set the rhythm. You walk at a pace that lets conversation breathe. You choose seating that allows angled bodies rather than face-to-face interrogation, shoulder to shoulder at a bar, or perpendicular on lounge seating. You use the environment as a third participant, the light on the glass, the music in the background, the way people move. You're present to the scene and you let your curiosity pick details to notice aloud. A date with you feels like stepping into a slower frequency where the world sharpens. That sharpness is addictive. Escalation is not a ladder of tricks, it's a loop of check-ins. Interest, invitation, investment, intimacy. Interest, you show clear, unambiguous attraction with your eyes and words. Invitation, you open a door. Let's walk. There's a spot I want you to see. Investment, you ask for a small contribution, her opinion, a story, a preference, a decision. Intimacy, you share something real but measured, a principle you live by, a childhood flavor you still chase, a failure you learned from without dramatizing it. Then you loop. Each turn deepens the groove. If at any point the energy dips, you don't panic, you adjust. Interest gets lighter, invitations get simpler, investment gets easier. Your calm is the thermostat. A man who is irresistible in the moment but chaotic in life is a firework, loud, bright, and gone. Make your habits mirror your presence. Train your body with intention, not obsession. Eat like you respect tomorrow. Sleep like you respect your mind. Build something that feels like yours. Work, craft, mission. Women feel the difference between a man who wants them to be his purpose and a man who has a purpose that makes him magnetic. That purpose doesn't have to be grand, it has to be honest. When you align what you say with how you live, your words carry weight. Weight is rare, weight is sexy. Let's sharpen specifics you can practice today. When you approach, stand still for half a second before you speak. That stillness announces you. Lead with a low-stakes observation and a genuine smile that arrives a fraction of a second after your eyes. Delayed warmth reads as authentic. During the first minute, match her pace of speech, then slow it by 5 to 10%. People follow the calmest rhythm in the room. Keep your hands visible and relaxed. If you gesture, move from the elbows, not the wrists. Looser wrists can broadcast nervous energy. Tilt your head slightly when listening. It signals interest without submission. When you respond, keep your sentences compact early, then lengthen them as comfort grows. Don't nod too much. One slow nod is confident, a bobblehead is not. If she tests you, and she will, treat it like a dance step, not a courtroom. A test is simply her nervous system asking, "Is this man consistent?" If she challenges your view, you grin and hold ground lightly. If she takes long to reply to messages, you don't chase, you move. If she tries to pull you into drama, you pivot to reality. I don't do that game. If you want me, you'll get me. If not, we're still good. That's not a line, it's a policy. Policies free you from overthinking. You show you're not auditioning, you're aligning. Alignment is the language of adults. Scarcity is another piece of this dark secret. Not false scarcity, real scarcity born from standards and time that actually matters. If you always say yes to last-minute plans, you teach people you have nothing going on. If you always linger after the energy is peaked, you teach people you're afraid of endings. Begin to end things when they're 90% complete. Leave with a final look that lingers half a second longer than expected, then break eye contact first. The last moment of an interaction is the one the nervous system replays most. Make your endings clean and a touch unsatisfied. Desire lives in unfinished music. Your internal dialogue must be ruthlessly curated. Replace, "I hope she likes me" with, "I'm curious whether we like each other." Replace, "I need her to respond" with, "I invite responses, I don't require them." Replace, "What should I say?" with, "What do I actually notice?" The mind obeys framing. If your frame is scarcity, your behavior will leak fear. If your frame is selection, your behavior will leak power. Repeat your personal code before you engage. I move slow, I see deep, I leave people better. That code will pull your shoulders down and your chin level. It will cool your eyes and warm your smile. It will make you prefer silence to smallness. There's a temptation to think irresistibility is about learning tricks. It's not. Tricks create pops. Presence creates pull. Presence is trained in boredom, walking without your phone, sitting with your breath, training with attention to form, saying no to noise. Each time you resist the urge to distract yourself, you add a brick to the cathedral of your presence. Women feel that. Everyone feels that. When you're with someone, be with them completely. When you're alone, be alone completely. That wholeness is rare. Rarity compels. If you've ever wondered why some men who aren't conventionally handsome still magnetize incredible women, look closely and you'll see the same ingredients. Stillness in the body, certainty in the eyes, rhythm in the speech, standards in the choices, patience in the timing, and a willingness to walk away. Willingness to walk away is not about playing hard to get. It's about honoring your dignity. The man who fears loss gives away power. The man who accepts loss before the first hello can finally be honest. Honesty breeds intensity. Intensity, delivered calmly, is irresistible. You'll notice we haven't relied on lines or routines. That's intentional. Lines without presence are empty calories. Presence turns simple language into invocation. Tell a woman, "I like the way you pay attention," while holding quiet eye contact and letting your breath settle, and you'll watch her posture change. Not because the words are magical, but because your nervous system is speaking in a dialect her body understands. That dialect is calm desire. That's the dark secret. Desire without desperation. Interest without insecurity. Edge without impatience. You don't chase, you invite. You don't cling, you choose. You don't perform, you reveal. If what you've heard so far is shaping your posture right now, if you feel your shoulders drop and your breathing slow, good. That's your body remembering how to be unhurried. Take that into the world. Practice silence for 1 minute each day in a public space without checking your phone. Practice ending conversations 1 beat earlier than comfort. Practice anchoring your words on your exhale. Practice choosing one detail to genuinely appreciate about someone and giving it to them without expectation. Practice saying no quickly and cleanly. Practice asking for what you want once, then letting it go if it's not met. These are small tasks that recalibrate your entire presence. And when it comes to intimacy, don't rush the bridge between spark and closeness. Keep updates light by text. Offer plans with clarity. Choose experiences that allow movement and side-by-side conversation. Walks, markets, galleries, quiet corners, rather than static interrogation across a table. Notice when she's leading and appreciate it. Notice when she wants you to lead and take the reins. Leadership is not about control, it's about direction with care. Care without direction is mush. Direction without care is cold. Blend them. The best-kept dark secret is not hidden in complicated tactics. It's hidden in what you've been avoiding. Your relationship with your own discomfort. The man who can breathe through uncertainty, who can feel attraction rise and not sprint to kill the tension with validation, who can hear silence and not attack it with chatter. That man becomes the stage upon which the feminine performs her most captivating music. You become the riverbank that gives shape to water. She feels safer because you don't collapse, and more excited because you don't smother. That paradox, safe and excited, is the engine of desire. So here's your field assignment. For the next 7 days, train 3 things: stillness, selection, and slow escalation. Stillness. 5 minutes each morning standing with feet under hips, shoulders heavy, jaw soft, eyes level, breathing slow. Feel what presence feels like in your bones. Selection. 1 standard you will not compromise this week: time respect, tone respect, or touch respect, and enforce it quietly. Slow escalation. In every conversation, extend your pause by half a second before you respond. Then let your first sentence be shorter than your second. Watch how the world moves to your rhythm when you commit to your rhythm first. If you know a brother who needs to hear this, send it to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. You don't become irresistible by chance. You become irresistible by deciding that your nervous system will be a sanctuary and your standards will be a compass. You decide that your eyes will tell the truth and your words will arrive like well-placed stones, not pebbles tossed in panic. You decide that you will leave interactions cleaner than you found them, even if that means ending them. You decide that your life is not a gap waiting to be filled, but a current moving with or without an audience. From that place, attraction is no longer something you chase. It's something you cause by the way you stand, breathe, look, choose, and let go. Here's the final reframe I want to leave stamped in your spine. The most irresistible man is not the man who is the loudest, richest, or most admired. He is the man who is most difficult to unnerve. Unshakable doesn't mean unfeeling. It means you can feel fully and stay steady. It means your yes means yes and your no means no. It means you can let desire build without begging it to end. It means you can walk away without bitterness because your value was never up for debate. If this has shifted something in you, tell me what you're claiming from today onward. I read every message because iron sharpens iron. And if you want more like this, make the simple move. Subscribe, comment what hit you hardest, and share it with the one friend who needs a stronger spine. The dark secret is no longer dark. It's in your breath, your eyes, your boundary. Now go practice until the world can feel it when you enter the room.